Right, so I was scrolling through social media the other day and I came across this video. Now, um, it is a 27-year-old veteran, or sorry, 27-year veteran of the Winnipeg Police, who's giving his thoughts on the liberal gun ban that was recently put in. And I'll just talk a little bit about it, then we'll play the video, then I'll talk a little bit more. I just wanted to bring a couple things up. This is very important because we have a government who supposedly, when it comes to other issues, is big on science and what does the science say, and what does the data show. Um, Even though they ignore data that goes against their worldview, but they're really big on that, and their policy's data based. But when it comes to this, all of a sudden it's, the Karens of the world want the scary looking guns banned, therefore we have to do it. We had one mass shooting, one prominent mass shooting like every 5, 10 years. Therefore, we have to ban the guns. One person a year, a handful of people a year die in mass shootings. Therefore, we have to ban the guns. The AR-15 is the gun that they're really going after. Now, as far as I can tell, I've only been able to come across one case in Canadian history where the AR-15 was used in a murder case. Now, that case that I came across was a gang shooting in Toronto where the gun was most likely illegally sourced from the States to begin with. So the problem is that they're going after guns that commit an incredibly low amount of crime. And even if they were going after the guns that commit the majority of the crime, the overwhelming majority of those, 85% roughly, I mean, this guy says more, but the numbers I've heard cited from the Toronto police chief says about 85% of guns used in crimes are brought in from the States, which means implementing a full on gun ban would have at most maybe a 5-10% effect on crime. Now, the anti gunners will say, well, oh, if it only saves one life. But that argument only makes sense. It's not, or sorry, that argument doesn't make sense for the simple reason that it's not a matter of a politician signing a piece of paper that says guns are banned. Banning all guns would cost billions of dollars. Not to mention, too, a lot of people wouldn't comply anyway. You'd ban the guns, you wouldn't recover most of them anyway, especially the non-restricted, because there's no way. I mean, you can, if they wanted to, they could probably track down a lot of them, but anybody who owns a non-restricted gun, there's nothing saying that they. I mean, this is just reality too. I'm not advocating for it. This is just the reality that goes on when the government does tyrannical stuff. Is that people just gonna go bury their guns in the woods, hide their guns in the woods. Now, if it's a restricted gun, the government knows you have it. That would be a terrible idea. But again, I'm not advocating any of this kind of stuff. I'm just talking about reality. Because if the government doesn't know you have it, then who's stopping you from going and just burying it in the woods? Or the classic, lost your guns in a boating accident. So that's the problem too, that the anti-gunners just don't understand, is they think it's simply the government signs a piece of paper and the problem goes away. But there's always unintended consequences, and the fact that people don't acknowledge the unintended consequences just goes to show they don't know anything. I mean, not that they knew anything to begin with. Like, anti-gun arguments are pretty bad, but um, so anyway, let's play the video here, and then I'll talk a little bit about it. Now, the audio isn't that good, but just bear with me. And again, you can go check it out yourself if you really wanted.
I can tell you that the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police have indicated that that won't make any difference. When we seize handguns, the handguns are almost 100% in the possession of people who have no legal right to possess them. They're almost always stolen or illegally obtained. I simply don't see, as a 27-year veteran, how adding another layer of law will make any difference anywhere in this country. When we stop somebody in this city, and police do this every single day, and they have a handgun, somehow saying that this jurisdiction of Winnipeg is handgun free, and I'll use air quotes, is going to make it safer or easy for us is just nonsense. It won't make any difference whatsoever. There are handguns all over. They're all illegal, and they're in the hands of criminals. And if the people that legitimately own them, they're discriminated.
Okay, so that is that. Again, the guy makes it very clear He said around 99% of the time. Now again, it's the vast majority. In that criminals, they don't obtain their guns from a legal source. Again, too, this is this common anti-gun fallacy that's complete BS. And not to mention too, it's already highly illegal too. Like the leftist ideology, the part that I really can't stand, and the part that most people can't stand, is that they never admit when they're wrong. They can never admit when they're wrong. You know, if the left will implement a policy, no matter what it is, you name it, it doesn't work out, and their solution is never, hey, maybe this policy, maybe we were short-sighted, maybe that we, we thought this would happen, but the opposite actually turned out to happen. You know, we're wrong. Let's get rid of this. That's never what they say. It's always we didn't go far enough. You know, in which it's going to happen with the guns. Again, it's so predictable. It's not even funny. They ban these 1,500-ish guns. It's not going to have any effect on crime, and it'll only, like I said, it'll only be a matter of time till there's another prominent shooting too. Um, and then they'll be, oh, it's because we didn't ban enough too. We got to ban handguns too. You know, we got to ban all semi-autos because they didn't ban all of them. They just banned most of them. And then that won't work either because again, like this cop even says too, you know, the vast majority are still coming from the states. Though for all, we must ban all guns now, all of them banned. And then that won't do anything either. And then we'll start to become the UK and some of these other countries where they start banning knives, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work too. And these people, like whenever you debate these leftists on climate change, point this stuff out, point this stuff out. We have a tangible, definitive evidence of a major city in Canada where probably one of the highest, ranking, police chief, not police, I don't know if he's a police chief, but police officers is saying definitively 99% of the time the guns used in crimes or criminals when they get caught with guns, it's not legally obtained. Therefore, your stupid BS gun control proposals are going to do nothing. Will they ever say, hey, you're right. You gave me definitive evidence. I'm going to change my mind. That would be a jaw-dropping moment. That never happens. And again, that's why there's so much political tension out there nowadays, is that the problem, where the problem roots from, is that in public schools and in universities and in life in general, we don't teach and we don't value critical thinking. We don't value people who make their decisions on this kind of stuff based off reason, evidence, and actual, tangible evidence and logic. We value because the society, or at least Western society mainly, has become so feminized. We value emotion more over logic. And if you're going to think about gun control based off emotion, it's the, won't you please think of the children, one person gets shot, with out of the tens of thousands of AR-15s, one of them is used in a crime, and that must mean that we have to ban all of them. One person runs someone over with their Honda Civic. Does that mean we have to ban all Honda Civics? No, that's insane. So, and again, the anti-gunners scoff at that argument too. But if your goal is just one life, well, then you should want to cut speed limits in half. You should want to ban certain cars after people run them over. So your whole, if it'll just save one life argument, it doesn't stand up to any reason and evidence, any logic whatsoever. Because if it was actually just one life, you would advocate for making your life incredibly more inconvenient and authoritarian and tyrannical in other ways. You just have this BS, whatever reason it is. You want an authoritarian government, therefore gun control goes in your best self-interest. You want a commie government. You want socialism, and the only thing preventing that in your mind is people fighting back, or you're just so ignorant that you support anything Big Daddy government tells you. So anyway, again, I usually cite that the overwhelming majority of guns used in crimes are criminal. Again, this guy says even higher numbers than I'm citing. So again, people accuse you of being biased, and it turns out the evidence shows that if anything, you were being too conservative. You were the opposite of bias. You could have been going out more on a limb. So anyway, again, like I say, whenever I bring up gun control, again, I usually cite stuff like this, and people turn around and, where's your evidence? And that if they spent 5 minutes looking for it themselves, they would soon figure it out. But again, whenever people say, "Where's your evidence?" Again, think of this, refer to this, and anyway, take it for what you will. Um, but anyway, like I say, given that all the BS gun control stuff going on in Canada right now, I want to keep hammering the issue. Again, Canadians are about as ignorant as possible when it comes to gun laws. Even a lot of gun owners are very ignorant on gun laws and the truth about gun control. You have a lot of Canadian gun owners who think that I support gun ownership, but I still support certain gun our gun control is pretty fair, even though most of it's completely arbitrary. Um, but anyway, I'm gonna leave the video there. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Check out my PayPal and email. I got links in the description. Appreciate any donations, but at the very least, just hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. And last couple things, as always, check me out on Twitter if you haven't already. You can see my account is in the bottom left here. You can see it, and then follow me on BitChute if you haven't already too.